Hello, everyone, and thank you for letting us speak here today on our research into developing a cross-reality prototype to enhance workflows and pre-surgical evaluations of epilepsy patients. My name is Brody Wells. I'm working alongside Nanjia Wang and Frank Maurer. Our research is being conducted out of the University of Calgary with grant support from Alberta Innovates. The cross-reality is a concept connected to Milgram's reality-virtuality continuum, or the RVC. Cross-reality technologies allow systems at different points on this continuum to be interconnected, allowing simultaneous usage or transition between these points on the RVC. For instance, our cross-reality system tries to interconnect well-established systems using traditional monitor displays in the real environment with video passed through augmented reality systems. These mixed reality systems have the potential to decrease cognitive load for the users. Neurologists conducting pre-surgical evaluations for epilepsy patients primarily review magnetic resonance imaging, or MRIs, alongside stereoelectroencephalograms, or SEEGs. The MRIs represent three-dimensional volumes, but are traditionally viewed as multiple two-dimensional cross-sections. This spatial data, as shown on the left, is matched with the temporal data of EEGs, as shown on the right. Within the MRI, neurologists are trying to visualize the placement of the electrodes, highlighted on the left, and match this with ictal events noted within the EEG recordings on the right. So what are the problems? Well, it requires significant cognitive effort along with visual spatial abilities to conceptualize the three-dimensional relationship of the data, which is being analyzed using two-dimensional modalities, like a desktop monitor. Furthermore, this spatial data must be matched with the temporal data of the EEGs within the neurologist's mind. This further confounds the challenge. And when the evaluation is complete, the neurologist must somehow convey their analysis using the same two-dimensional modalities. Here, our research objectives are to, firstly, gather requirements based on interviews with the neurologist and to develop a prototype based on those requirements. Secondly, we'll demo the prototype with the same neurologist to get further feedback on the results. And in the entire process, we're investigating the benefits and limitations of cross-reality and mixed reality, along with design and user experience considerations involved in development of such systems. There's been other research that's investigated the use of virtual reality systems in pre-surgical evaluations of epilepsy patients. Amino Leroya found neurologists using their virtual reality system had a reduced cognitive burden and a better overall picture of the electrode locations relative to seizure onset zones. Similarly, a system investigated by Fan et al. Found neurologists could better interpret the SEEG data and was also used to help educate patient and family members about proposed surgeries. In addition, the same system was used by the neurosurgeons to delineate areas of focus. Although showing much potential, virtual reality systems have limitations. For one, switching back and forth between virtual reality and desktop software is difficult. And furthermore, certain tasks requiring higher accuracy are still best done using traditional tools requiring mouse and keyboard. As early as 2005, Banco et al. Had showed how an object visualized on a two-dimensional touchscreen can be transitioned into mixed reality and viewed as a three-dimensional object. Research since then has showed that different points along the RVC offer different advantages to the user. In the work we're doing, we want to investigate if cross-reality might enhance neurologist workflow. We hypothesize this may be possible by bridging the benefits of traditional software tools with the benefits of mixed reality tools. And we want to integrate the traditional system rather than just replace it. This initial concept sketch shows how a neurologist might use a head-mounted display while working with their traditional software, and then have access to mixed reality systems, such as for interacting with 3D models of the patient data when it may help them to conceptualize it. Changes, for example, to the cross-section cuts would be updated simultaneously on both systems. In our elicitation interviews, it was discovered neurologists would like access to a 3D model of the patient's MRI data. They want this connected to their desktop software. In addition, they would benefit from being able to easily select individual electrodes to generate cross-sectional views to fully show that electrode. They also did not like the idea of using a separate controller. They wanted to be able to intuitively interact with the mixed reality system using just their hands. In creating our prototype, we used several different technologies. We used Unity for developing the system, Unity netcode to create the cross-reality interactions, the Vargio XR3 head-mounted display, which offered relatively high video pass-through capabilities, For creating the hand interactions, we used Ultraleap's hand tracking package. And lastly, we used a Unity asset called Volume Viewer Pro, which used ray tracing to generate 3D models based on the MRI data files. We discovered that there's no obvious way to integrate with the proprietary software used by the neurologists. So we created a mock system to represent their current software. Shown here, it had 3 orthogonal cross-section views along with 2 example electrode strips. In our final prototype, we ended up with a control menu anchored to the user's left palm. There was the 3D brain that was generated from an example patient MRI dataset. There was the 3 orthogonal cross-sectional views that were adjustable in mixed reality space using hand gestures. The user also had the ability to quickly select an electrode to anchor the cross-sectional view. And of course, the views updated on the mixed reality system were simultaneously updated on the desktop software. We use a total of 3 different hand gestures for all interactions in the system: a grab, a point, and a pinch. These will be demonstrated in the video following. So the first gesture shown is the grab gesture. By performing a grab gesture anywhere inside the 3D model, the user could freely move and rotate the brain. The point gesture was used to select options from the control menu. It was also used to select which electrode to anchor a cross-section view around. The pinch gesture was used when adjusting the position of a cross-sectional plane. When a user made adjustments to cross-sectional views, the view was automatically adjusted on both the mixed reality system and the desktop software. And you can see on the monitor in the back how the view is updated simultaneously. When a specific electrode was selected, the cross-section could be rotated around the axis of that specific electrode. All these features combined hopefully increase the ability to conceptualize the data. We've now conducted demonstration sessions with neurologists in which they used the system firsthand and gave it feedback on the features and the experience. This is a first step towards connecting the empirical evidence with limitations and challenges involved in applying cross-reality to a neurologist's current workflow. Feedback was very positive, with many features of the prototype generating excitement about its potential practical applications. As shown in the video on the left, the neurologists were very impressed with the ability to freely grab and rotate the 3D visualization in mixed reality. They felt this could make conceptualizing the data simpler, as they could very quickly visualize how electrodes are positioned relative to other regions in the brain. They also thought this may simplify communicating the information to colleagues involved in patient care. Shown in the video on the right, the neurologists thought the ability to quickly select an electrode location and then freely move the cross-section around its axis was very useful. This could be a fast way to generate the ideal cross-sectional view on the traditional software and allow them to more easily conceptualize the orientation of the cross-section in 3 dimensions. The neurologists also thought it could be very useful to include other modalities in the system, such as integrating SPECT or PET scans, and also visualizing the SEEG data alongside the 3D model. They also thought an ideal use case would be to use the tool to do live rounds with their colleagues. In summary, the neurologists thought the cross-reality system had lots of potential to enhance their current clinical workflow. They suggested additional modalities that could be integrated to increase the usefulness, and they were very excited to see the possibility of such a system being used to convey their evaluations live during the rounds. Our research and the results are a first step into determining the potential, but also the challenges and limitations involved in developing practical systems. For one, direct integration with current proprietary software presents a challenge, since software tools such as Horos are not designed to allow alternative input methods aside from a mouse and a keyboard. Secondly, the accuracy of mixed reality visualizations needs to be demonstrated, as small deviations in the representations can have serious consequences in surgical treatment outcomes. Thirdly, automatically detecting electrode positions would require training a machine learning model, and access to such training data is limited. Lastly, the hand interactions in the prototype were inconsistent, and further work needs to be done to identify the most intuitive methods of hand interactions and refining the algorithms to make it more stable and reliable. Thank you so much, and this concludes our presentation.